Because back when we came home, you couldn't work for the city. You couldn't work for the state.
Right.
I'm saying you couldn't work for nonprofits if you had a criminal record. Right. Once we started taking all the money, the city changed its policy and started hiring ex-offenders. We can't beat them, we better get our own. All the nonprofits, all the city agencies, the state agencies started hiring ex-offenders because you couldn't compete with Bakehouse. We had every real dude in town under one roof. And we would just go to the meeting, and the funders were like, hell yeah, write them the check. And no, y'all don't, it got to the point, if you weren't collaborating with Bakehouse, you couldn't get a contract. Or you weren't seen as official because Bakehouse had dudes from all over the city.
So when you got out of jail, who gave you your first opportunity? Who gave you your first break?
First opportunity, I gave myself my first opportunity. There's a guy named Tom Coombs at Norfolk. He let me in a program called Second Thoughts. And we used to do programs with the kids from DY. They bring them up once or twice a week. We talk to the kids. Then before I came home, I told the kids I was getting out. They said, yo, will you come see us when you get out? So I said, cool. I got out, went prison, parole office, Mattapan Square, Dorchester, juvenile center. I started talking to the kids. I met a guy over there named Tim Allen. He used to be a pastor at one of the local churches. And he started mentoring me because I didn't know nothing about the business. I just knew I was good at talking to kids. And he started explaining the business to me and how things worked. And he took me to the Bakehouse. That's how I got the Bakehouse. He took me to the meeting and he explained it to me and he helped me process it. Then once he explained it to me, I knew it all. It was just terms I didn't know they were in. I knew everything they were doing, how to do it. I just didn't know the terms. He taught me the terminology. Then the dude wanted to hire me. Then I was like, yo, I gotta hire the homies. Then we got dudes from Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, all over the city. JP, Mission, everybody came. And we was under one roof, working together and chilling. And we would just go out and do our thing. You know what I'm saying? And then what they didn't understand is we were studying their game, how to write grants, how to design programs, how to do assessments, how to do interventions, how to do interviews. We were learning how to do accounting. You know what I'm saying? We learned how to answer phones. So we learned the entire bit. We were great at handling the block, but we had to get great at handling the business that had nothing to do with the block.
Right.
So we learned the business end of it. Because if you only know the block end of it, you're gonna get the short end every time.
Right.
LeBron will never make more than the Bus family. Put that on record. LeBron James will never make more money than the Bus family. They own the Lakers. He plays for the Lakers.
Right.
So we learn how to be GMs. We learn how to be agents. We learn how to be managers, not just the players. So when we learned that end of it, we crushed the game.
So where are you at today? What are you doing? So when I met you, you were going into the prisons.
I was going to jail.
You were putting together programs.
Back in the 2000s, I worked at that agency for 4 years. I left there and learned so much. I'm saying, listen, I would not be sitting here had I not worked there for 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
What did they teach you?
They taught me marketing. They taught me advertising. They taught me grant writing. They taught me accounting. They taught me proposal. They taught me interviewing. You know what I'm saying? Ken Johnson, managing director. He says, Andre, the people you hire represent you. It's the most important decision you ever make. You know what I'm saying? I understood how to write grants. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Thorne sat with me and she taught me how to write grants. You know what I'm saying? Proposals to get money. RFPs. I know what an RFP was. She taught me what an RFP was. She taught me how to propose. She showed me the forms, how to fill them out, how to actually word them out. And I learned that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody in that time taught me accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivable. You know what I'm saying? How to balance budgets, how to write out a budget. I didn't know none of this stuff. So I said, Belinda, she used to answer the phones. She taught me how to answer phones. Good afternoon, LJ Bakehouse. How may I help you? Who's like to speak to? Could you hold, please? Oh, he's not available right now. May I take a message? I didn't know how to answer a phone. Right. Didn't know how to fill the little stupid pad, how to forward a call. Right. When I was in there, they taught me all of this stuff. I didn't get degrees, but I got skill sets. I used to go with the boss to sit in on the pitch meetings. Every time they pitched for money, I would go. Then I would sit with them. Now the same companies used to hire us to give us money. I now work for them. The different foundations, because I got to know the CEOs of the foundations, and I go to lunch with them. Just have conversations. And they're like, yo, how does this work? He would explain to me, Andre, when we give money out, this is what we're looking for. He says, everybody comes through the door is going to tell us that they're going to save the world if you give them $10 million. That's not important to us because everybody makes the same claim. This is what matters to us, for us to write a check. This is what we want to see. How are you going to sustain this beyond our money? Who's actually doing the work? Where's the actual plan? What's your accountable measures? So he taught me, the foundation president, what they look for. Because we used to go and be like, yo, the whole world's going to blow up and die if you don't give us the money. We got all these blocks under control, you give us the money. That could be true, but that's not what they give money out based on. So I learned why they give out money, what their criteria is, what their checklist is. So I just got all these different skill sets. I went to a meeting the other day, Cheryl from Virginia. We're in the meeting, they have the meeting, she wants to hire me, she's gonna give me a contract, great. The one thing I noticed, she had frogs all over her office. Because in her mind, I said, why you got the frogs? She said, well, you never know when you're looking at a prince. That's her little thing. She, kid you not, frogs everywhere. dumb shit, but she got frogs everywhere.
Right.
So when I go back, guess what I'm showing up with?
Frog.
A goddamn frog. Menino used to have little glass elephants. I don't know why. Mayor Menino, shout out, pass. You go to Menino's office, he had elephants all over his office. He had his little things. I believe it, don't quote me, I believe they're elephants. It's been a while. He had his little thing. I went downtown at this meeting. Everybody got their thing in their office. I'm quite sure I go to your office, there's something. Like basketballs, footballs, Arkansas Razorbacks, I don't know. Everybody got their thing that they decorate their office with. I'll come in, I'll see what you decorate your joint with, you're gonna get a gift that you're gonna love. Because it's gonna match what's in your office. Oh, Dre, okay, cool. Dre paid attention. Somebody taught me that. You say, just don't send flowers, send stuff that matters to them. How do you know what matters to them? Look, pay attention, listen. Don't talk so fast, listen faster. I'm saying, what do they need? What do they want? Not what can you do. We're quick to say what we can do, but we never ask what they want. So I learned to ask, what do you want? What do you need? What's your agenda? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? And then I slot into that. If I told you, listen, man, let's get down, let's do this thing. If I told you I was going to California, now I flew in today to do this, I'm going back to South Carolina. So I'm going back to South Carolina tomorrow, you're going back to Boston. So if we talk about opening a business in Atlanta, neither one of us want that. Homie says, yo, let's do this business in Atlanta. You don't live in Atlanta, I live in South Carolina. Doesn't make any sense. But if he want to do something in Boston, you'd be more apt to listen. If he says about South Carolina, I'd be more apt to listen. So understanding what's next, not what's now. So I learned a lot of skill sets from being around people. I'm still good at talking to people. I can go to the blocks and talk to youngins and make it make sense because I live that life. I can go to a prison and make it make sense because I live that life. If you don't understand the business, you're always going to lose.
Now you've talked to kids all over the country,
All over the world.
All over the world. Okay.
I've worked in 30 different countries. Saudi Arabia, Australia, Germany, Guatemala, Honduras, Colombia, Africa. I lived in West Africa for 2 years. Lived in Monrovia, been to Ghana. I mean, I've worked all over the planet. Spain, Amsterdam, Netherlands. I mean, I've been all over the planet. 30 countries since I've been home.
And this you've done this just by talking and speaking engagements?
This is what I tell people. Motivational speaking will open the door. It gets the door open. LeBron James plays basketball. That opens the door. And he gets the Nike commercials, the Sprite commercials. His basketball game opens the door.
Right.
My speaking opens the door. It gets me to the table. Now I got to be likable. Now I got to be personable. Now I got to have something to say beyond dribbling the ball or grabbing a mic. So with a microphone, I'm nice. I've been on stage with Tony Robbins, Les Brown. I go down the list. Brandon Bouchard, Richard Branson. I've been on stage with everybody you can imagine. President Bush, Tony Dungy. I've been on stage with all of them. Speaking will get you in the room. But there's a thing that I teach. There's getting in the room, then there's staying in the room. Most people don't know how to stay in the room. They think because they got in the room that they won. Staying in the room is the trick. So I perfected and learned how to stay in the room, not just get in the room. So I'm there when the deals are being done. I'm there for the long term, not for the short term. I'm there not just for lunch, I'm there for the weekend. You get invited to the lunch party, I'm getting invited to the weekend retreat on top of the lunch party. And my boss taught me a lesson back when I first came home. Harvard had this thing, this program. They were running it, and it went bad. It started crashing and burning, little black kids. So they brought me out to Harvard. We go to the event, we go to this meeting. They sit down, they tell me all about the program and how they were running it and how procedure it is and how all of a sudden the kids stopped coming. When they finished explaining to me what was going on, they said, well, what do you think, Andre? I said, well, what did the kids say? No. We brought in a guy from Sweden. We brought in a guy from Guatemala. We brought in a guy from the White House. No. I said, what did the kids say? We went in this circle for about 5 minutes. I said, listen, the kids know why they didn't come up. And you would believe that they'd be the first person to ask, but they never asked the kids. Light bulb, wow, we can talk to the kids. They're not just lab rats. They're people. Right. And they can answer questions. Kicked us out. Thanks for coming, Dre. Party's over. Walked us to the door. This me and my boss, they all stayed. We out in the parking lot. We walking to the train station. He said, Dre, give me 200,000. I said, 200,000? Yeah, give me 200,000. Where am I going to get 200,000 from? I'm living in a group home. I'm struggling. We talking about 200,000. He said, that's how much money you gave them in information just now. You just gave them $200,000 worth of information for free. There's some food you don't even like. He said, respect your knowledge. I thought I was just being helpful. We're just having a conversation. And we were. But to them, they're mining for diamonds. I'm playing in the dirt. They knew what to do with the diamonds. I didn't. I didn't even understand I had diamonds. He said, respect your knowledge, man. They brought you out here. They stuck a tube in the side of your head, sucked all the information out, and they pushed you out right out the door. Didn't even blink. Right. He said, don't be so quick to give away your knowledge and not understand it. I started understanding the value of the information that I had and that I created, my intellectual property. I didn't know what it meant. He taught me intellectual property rights. I'm saying how that whole thing moves. It's not just I got a song, I ain't gonna put it out, but understanding the value of the information. And a lot of the brothers in the city, they have the information. They have the know-how. They have the access. They're the right people for the job. But they don't understand the networking part. They don't understand the negotiation part. So you want to go get a deal, you might have the best company, the best brand ever, but you walk in the room, if you don't know how to negotiate it, you're not going to get nothing. Let me say this. You get what you negotiate, not what you deserve.
That's a fact. That's the truth.
People don't get that. You get what you negotiate, not what you deserve. So many times, we put the wrong person in the room to negotiate for us. And they come back with a sad story. They didn't give us money because we're black, because we're not it. No, you didn't know how to negotiate. That's what it is. You did not know how to negotiate, and you negotiated a bad deal. What's the boy? Ricky Williams, the running back that came out of Texas. He had Master P as his agent. Worst deal ever. Master P negotiated, no hate or do. He wasn't an agent. He was trying to make that move, and they created one of the worst signings ever for a player. I'm saying, so Ricky Williams got a bad deal because his agent didn't negotiate well. Now P since learned, but Ricky still don't get that money back. Right. P solid dude. It wasn't no malice. Right. It was just he wasn't a master negotiator. He was a beginner negotiator messing with masters. And they came out there with a raw deal. What they thought they had a great deal. They thought wrong. So I became a master negotiator. So when I go in a room, regardless if it's the owner of a team, owner of a business, owner of a foundation, I know how to negotiate. And it's not something you can pick up along the way. Either you know it or you don't. I'm saying, so people believe that they're master negotiators because they're the talent. For the record, LeBron James negotiates none of his contracts. That's what Rich Paul is for. If you wanted to give LeBron James $20 million for a commercial, you couldn't even give it to him. You got to go to Rich Paul. You got to make it make sense to Rich. Right. LeBron's like, go see Rich. AD's like, go see Rich. Don't talk to me about money, about deals. That's why I pay him. Right. I'm the best talent on the court. He's my talent in the negotiation. But we, collectively in the street, want to be the talent in a negotiator. It doesn't work. What they say, if you have If you have yourself as a client, a lawyer has himself as a client, he has a fool. Something like how you say that?
I don't even know.
It's like if a client represents himself, he has a fool for a lawyer.
Is that what it is?
Something like that. If
You represent know what that is?
That's a lot similar.
There's something like that.
Like that.
If you represent yourself in court just because you legally have the right to, and that district attorney has 6 years of law school, 10 years of practice, and you just got a concept, you about to get slaughtered.
In some cases.
In most cases.
In most cases, because if I didn't represent myself, brother, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
But in most cases.
But in most cases.
You about to get slaughtered.
That's right.
But the baseline is, man, Boston right now is in a situation that's never been in. And brothers ain't seen it. You're about to have a new mayor. Black mayor. We got one now for the first time. We got a sister, shout out. We're about to have a new black mayor. We're about to have a new district attorney. We're about to have a new police chief. We're about to have almost a whole new city board, city council. The governor's up for grabs. I don't know how that's going to look. I ain't really studied that. But for the city, police chief, mayor, city council, all about to be brand new. And DA. So before they get strong, Menino's first 6 months, you might be able to push him around. At year 10, forget about it. When Marty first came in, that first 6 months, you might be able to swing something by him. Year 6, forget about it. Once they get settled, they get rooted, then it's no more negotiation. It's what they give you. The city's right now wide open. If brothers collaborated together and created an organization that we can do business with the city. Because right now, unbeknownst to us, we're in City Hall. We're in the State House. Every agency in the city, every department in the city is full of dudes from the penitentiary in the street. But we're not collectively working together.
Right.
Not so much sharing our money, but just being one unit. See, right now, I was talking to my homie last week. I said, what Boston needs to do is build a league. Because you're from this part of town, I'm from that part of town, so I ain't rocking with you. We got history. I ain't rocking with him. We got history. So we're not getting along. Who cares? I'm saying you don't need to build a team. That's what we did in Bakehouse. We built a team. And everybody from the blocks joined one team. That ain't working no more. What they need to do right now is build a league. They need an NBA, and then this block can be the Lakers, this block can be the Sixers, this block can be the Bucks, this block can be... Build the league. The league gets funded, then the league funds the teams. So the NBA, the league, gets the TV deal, gets the advertising deal, gets the network deal, gets the merch deal. They negotiate the deals and they feed the teams. Look at the NFL, look at Major League Baseball, look at the NBA. There is a league.
Right.
And the league gets the money and it passes it out to the teams equally. If there was only the Lakers and there's no league, where they gonna play at? And some of them dudes don't like each other, some of them dudes beef with each other, some of them got history, who cares? But they play in the league.
I like that. That's a great point.
But dudes, I'm like, yo, build a league. Then if you're Dennis Rodman and I'm Michael Jordan, we never got to play together. Oops, we did. Won 3 rings. Mm-hmm. Dennis Rodman tried to tear their head off. And lo and behold, end up on the team together. That's a whole other story. But Boston needs to build a league. Once it builds a league, then the agencies have to respect the league. City Hall has to respect the league. The nonprofits have to respect the league. The foundations have to respect the league. Right now, it's all individuals. You're just an individual. You're just 1 or 2 guys. You might be 5 or 6 guys. You're just a team at best. You're a team with no league. If you build a league, then you appoint whoever you want to be, the commissioner, assistant commissioner, whatever, then they go out and advocate on behalf of the league. Right now, everybody's advocating for themselves. So if you're a foundation president, you got 20 teams coming you asking for the same thing. This team is saying, hey, we play ball, we're great at it, give us money. This team says, hey, we play ball. This team says, you all play ball. You're all asking for the same thing. So I had to pick which team I give it to. Versus saying, oh, we're all part of a league. Fund the league, and the league will handle it from there. I can pick up the phone right now. I got a company in Dallas, $2 billion company. We'll fund the league, won't fund the team. I got 20 companies, 200 companies I'm speaking for in September. Apple, AIG, Delta, all of them. They'll fund the league. They won't fund an individual. They're like, Dre, what's your plan? I want to say I got a league. And the league is this. Can't get a league. No league, you get short money. You get to go sign the autograph money. You ain't getting the TV deal money.
Right.
You ain't getting the TV deal money. I walk in Apple. I walk in Facebook. I walk in the billion-dollar companies. I know owners of teams. They'll fund the league 1,000 times faster than they'll fund the individual. And if dudes are like, okay, let's build the league, Boston wins the whole city.
So is this something that you're focusing on in Boston only, or in the others?
I would love to do it at home.
Okay.
I would love to do it at home, but the truth is, I don't know if home wants to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm born in Boston City Hospital. Dude. When I die, I'm going to Mount Hope Cemetery up on Walk Hill Street.
Right.
They're not burying me in South Carolina. They're not burying me in Richmond, Virginia. They're not burying me in Florida. They're taking my black butt up to probably Johnson's Funeral Home down on Warren. They're going to roll me up the Ave and drop me off at Mount Hope Cemetery.
That's right.
Right next to my homies and my grandma. Full stop. My last stop is on Walk Hill. My last stop is on Walk Hill. So if I can do it at home, in a minute. But the crazy thing, I was just in Richmond, they lining up for the knowledge.
Right.
I go to Detroit, they lining up. They're like, yo, Dre teaches. I teach dudes, the LA dudes, taught them. Philly dudes, I've taught them. Detroit dudes, I've taught them. South Carolina dudes, I've taught them. Come home, I'm like, all right, cool. Listen, it's there. It's 1,000% there. And the thing is this here. Boston is governing, what part of the country you from? I tell you this here, Boston governs his outreach stuff. All the programs that are running around this country, reentry, ceasefire, violence interrupters, all that born in Boston. Home visits, probation rights, born in Boston. Faith-based initiative, born in Boston. All of it, born in Boston. 10-point coalition, born in Boston. Every program they're using across the country, born in Boston. They copying our shit every day. So when I roll in, they're like, we from Boston? They're like, oh, he's a guy. I be telling you, there's a whole bunch more of us. Boston governs the whole platform. Yeah, dudes is doing it on different levels. Right. I'm not saying dudes ain't doing their own thing, right, but I can tell you fact. The Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiative, George Bush son-in-law, came out of Dorchester. Violence interrupters, I can tell you the first 15 of them, all from Boston. Reentry panel, South Bay House Correction, first one in the country.
So it sounds like Boston got the teams, but they're not.
Boston got the knowledge,
right,
but they ain't putting together.
They ain't putting together the league.
They ain't putting together the league. Nobody in this country, government or anybody else, is going to argue Boston's the source of all of this.
So are you ready to do that now? Are you ready to put together the league?
If dudes want, listen, it's.
What if? I mean, let's be real. There has to be. Everyone has hate, no matter what level of success you achieve in life. There are going to be brothers. There's not going to be brothers that say, even if you grew up with them, yo, I applaud what you're doing, brother. I like it. You're doing great things. I want to rock with you. They're going to always find some reason not to. And you have come across brothers like that, of course, right?
I mean, I'm sure there's some people that don't want to work with.
Absolutely. So, on that note, do you take that personally, or are you going to like and say, well, fuck Boston and shit on them, or are you saying, I want to go home and make it happen?
Listen, like I said, they're going to bury me in Mount Hope. They know fuck Boston.
Okay.
Ain't even in me. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Mount Hope and it's a 7. I came out of Boston City. They call it Boston. What do they call it? Something else?
Boston Medical.
Boston Medical. It was Boston City.
Right.
And I'm going from Boston City to Mattapan.
Okay.
And born and raised all day. All my brothers and sisters born and raised. Madison Park High School, born and raised. I mean, I went to Boston College. You know, everything I know is Massachusetts. So there's no fuck Boston ever. You know what I'm saying? I would love to do it there. I'm not going to not work. Because if you ain't ready, that's on you.
Right.
You called me. How hard was it to get me here?
To get you here?
Yeah.
How long? Or
how hard was it to get me to come to this interview?
Oh, not hard at all. It was a phone call.
My phone rings.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been downstairs waiting for an hour for you to get here. Well, you talk to me. I'm like, take your time. I mean, I flew in. My hotel's down the block. I'll wait for you. If it's supporting the hood, if it's supporting the hood, I'm all in. You call me, yo, Dre. I remember using the program I was running up in Bill Ricker. When I first came home, I learned the business. I had my own contract in the jail in Bill Rick. I ran it for like 5 years. No problem. You know what I'm saying? I was hiring people. You know what I'm saying? When I left Baker House, I set my own thing. First contract, Bill Rick. I got another. I almost had a contract in Massachusetts. It didn't go through. So I got one in different states.
You put a lot of videos out of the things you're doing and stuff like that. How can the people who are watching, how can they find you?
Well, everybody's in social media right now.
Yeah,
There's my website, AndreNorman.com. My website is AndreNorman.com. My IG is @AndreNorman. My Facebook is Andre Norman. My LinkedIn is Andre Norman. I don't have a second hand.
Okay.
I'm about to launch a podcast from Prison to Millions. So I mean, like when I come through, I met a dude from Louisiana named Wall Street Trapper, killing the game. Sat down, built with him. He go to the Breakfast Club a couple weeks ago. He's like, yo, my OG Dre showed me how to get into prisons. Love that dude, solid dude. I want to do that with you too. See, I rock with dudes from around the country. But I got homies I walk with back home, but it's like, what I'm seeing in Boston, dude, we could reshape the entire platform. We started it in 2000 with Baker House. We came out with the platform, we had all the homies, we got together, we did it. Didn't know what we were doing. We were learning on the go. Now we know. We went to the White House, we was in Congress, we over here, didn't know what we were doing. Figuring out as we was going. We didn't know how to negotiate, didn't know how to do contracts, we were just learning as we went. Going off what we thought we knew. My biggest mess up since I've been home, I went to an event in California. And I did an event, it was a Prudential Insurance from Europe, UK. We did the event, we crushed it. The owner, the CEO of the company said he wanted to meet me for breakfast. I come down for breakfast the next day, white dude, 5'8", average height, average weight. He's excited, yo, you changed my life, you opened my eyes, we talking, we're talking about 8 minutes. I was like, all right, man, nice to meet you, and I walked off. I didn't understand this man ran a $70 billion company. He had the ability to pick up and just sign a check to anything. I didn't see him as just another regular white dude. This dude ran a multi-billion-dollar company. He was on fire because I opened his eyes or something. And I could have said, yo, I want to come work for you. He said, done. I want this, done. We're going to go do it. He decided to check to anything. But I didn't understand who I was talking to. I was looking at him through old school eyes, not new school eyes. And I walked away from him because I didn't know no better. Had I sat there, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in London someplace 20 years later, just caked up in London. I'd been the hottest dude in Europe with a $1 billion company behind me. But so often we walk into a situation, we see it from our perspective and from our limited perspective. So I've learned, like this summer, like I say, this fall, I got a meeting or a seminar with 200 companies, $21 trillion total net worth. And I know what to ask for now. Stop going in there and don't know what to ask for. That's one of the killers of all time. Not knowing what to ask for and asking for the wrong thing and getting it. No, not just negotiating. Asking for the wrong thing and getting it. I know what to ask for. All day, hands down. And can justify it and explain it. When you walk into a room and the governor says to you, what can I do for you? I'm meeting with the president. I'm supposed to meet with the president in a couple of months. So when I go sit with the president, at some point, he's going to swing to me and say, okay, Dre, nice to meet you. What can I do for you?
And you're ready.
Oh, I've been practicing for that question since I got told I was going to meet with him 7 months ago. It was back in February, they told me, meeting coming. We're going to get you in there. Don't worry about it. So since February to now, every day I sit down, I say, okay, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the spinoffs. Well, what about this? How does that work? Well, how does that work? How does this work? For 7 months, I've been preparing for one question. And when it comes, I'm ready. So when the governor swings to you, hey, Paris, love the work that you're doing. What can I do to help you?
You gotta be ready with that is.
And being in the room is easy. Are you ready for the question? What can I do to help you? What can you do to better the situation? Are you really ready? Getting in the room is the easy part. When I answer the questions the right way, with long-term sustainability an actual fundamentals, measurable plan, get that man a chair. Well, I'm just gonna make the kids better. I'm gonna make it safe. I'm gonna give you $2 million. What do I get for my $2 million for your program? Safer kids, safer neighborhoods. What does that mean? You don't know what that means. You can't measure that. You have to say, I'm gonna take these 200 kids, run for this 3-year program. This is gonna cost me $250,000 a year. I need 8 staff members. These are measurables: pregnancy, violence, arrest, school grades, curfew. And you have to break, they speak spreadsheet. If you can't talk spreadsheet, you ain't saying nothing. Excel it. I talk an Excel spreadsheet when I start talking about what I want, what I'm going to do. It's not about the emotional appeal of these people need. Excel spreadsheet. Dre, what do you need? What do you want? I start talking Excel spreadsheet. I'm not leaving nothing out. Excel spreadsheet. Because that's how it's going to break down. And if you can't talk Excel spreadsheet, you're getting petty cash.
So what is it that you would tell the young brothers out there right today, if you had to give a message to them about changing what they're doing as far as these streets are concerned?
I mean, if you're in the streets, there's a reason you're in the streets. The reason I went to the street is because I was hungry. The reason I went to the street is the stuff that I wanted because I didn't feel my esteem was low based on the stuff that I didn't know. The reason I went to the street is because I didn't know another way, or I wasn't going to look for another way to make legitimate money. So I quit. My father walked out on us when I was in the 1st grade. And when he walked out, I came home from school, they said, Dad's gone. He was there from like birth to like 1st, 2nd grade, and they said, Dad's gone. What he taught me was it's okay to quit. When my mother used to get hit, it taught me anybody can be hit. Anybody. If my mother can be hit, there's not a person on this planet that can't get it. And when them kids threw rocks at us and called us niggas back when we was going to school and nobody came to help us, I knew I had to protect myself. And when Dad walked out, it said quitting is okay. So we're doing this and they ain't going my way, I quit. We're in this pro, I quit. We're going to school, I quit. Trying to get this job, I quit. I could quit so easily. Because it was taught to me as a young child, quitting is okay. That was my biggest thing. The thing I had to fix in jail wasn't my attitude, wasn't violence, wasn't my reading. It was my propensity to quitting. That was my kryptonite. I quit too damn easy. And once I fixed that in me, I couldn't undo my father leaving. I couldn't undo the rocks and the names. I couldn't undo the beatings from my mom. I couldn't undo being poor. I undo the thing that says I can quit. Now I don't know how to quit. Quitting no longer an option, which allowed me to do a 25-year march from a prison cell to Harvard. Because I don't know how to quit doing it. Quitting is no longer an option. Or the first option. Tough, quit, don't go together no more. Quit, emotional, quit. Upset, quit. Not going my way, quit. When I looked at my life history, it wasn't poor, it wasn't drugs, it wasn't family, it wasn't neighborhood, it was my father taught me how to quit. That was my problem. And I exercised that shit until, I wish I could sit here and say, man, I grew up in the city, I was so poor and destitute, I had no choice but to be a criminal, I was surrounded by crack dealers. That's not the truth. I went to school, I had teachers who loved me, I had an older sister who looked out for me, I had a grandmother who adored me. You know what I'm saying? I had lots of positive people in my life. I quit on every positive thing in my life until I only had negativity. Then the negativity won. Because I quit on any and everything positive. I was my high school's first ever foreign exchange student. I quit.
So your message is to not be a quitter?
My message is find out your thing. If you're in the streets right now, you hustling, you got a pistol, or you doing your thing, or you skipping school, I'm not mad at you having a gun. I'm not mad at you smoking weed. I'm not mad at you out here handling your business. My question is not what are you doing, but what is the real reason why you're doing it? Why are you really out here? And if we want to have that conversation, why you're out here, Do you feel like you got to feed yourself? You feel like nobody loves you, nobody's listening to you? I mean, everybody's not following the leader. This is why you're out there.
Right.
There's kids in our neighborhood that ain't out there. They go in the house at the end of the night. They go to the store and go home. We go to the store and keep going. Why did we keep going? Why did we feel the need to steal when the kid next door did? Shit, why did I steal when my brother did? My big brother never stole nothing. I used to steal. We grew up in the same house. He went to the Navy, I went to prison. Why did I go to prison and he go to the Navy? Why did he not quit? Why did he not steal? Why did he not feel compelled to hang out? We grew up in the same house, saw the same shit every day. But it affects each of us differently. Trauma is real. So I would say to the young folks or the old folks or whoever, what is your why? And if you don't know how to figure it out, I went to counseling. Because I didn't know how to figure it out either. Nothing in my history taught me how to figure out my why. I didn't know there was a why. I went to counseling in prison. I sat on the couch and I talked about me. Cared about nothing else. I talked about me and what was bothering me. I got addicts in my family. I got quitters in my family. I got people depressed in my family. I got people who passed in my family. So I talked about me and mine and how it affected me. And in that discussion, or discussions, it was multiple, it tracked all the way back to the first grade. When I told the story, and that guy asked me, he said, yo, well, how did you feel about that? And I could trace, like 23andMe, my quitting started right there. And I was like, whoa. And I had to do some healing around that. And once I could heal that up and seal that up, I'm no longer a quitter. So when I set my goals on stuff, I could finish it. Before, didn't finish nothing. So I would say to the young folks, man, and to guys out here our age, man, get some help figuring out your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? I'm saying, so like I said, in my house, there was domestic violence. Now, I turned into a quitter. Other people turn into batterers. I didn't turn into a batterer. You know what I'm saying? I had small bouts with it. I got some relatives that was their thing.
Right.
And it was all in on that. And because they saw it like I saw it, but that triggered him, it didn't trigger me. Sometimes you run to something, sometimes you run away from something. So I ran towards quitting, but away from battery. I had a brother ran towards battery, but away from quitting. So listen, therapy, counseling, someone to talk to who's not one of the homies, who's living the same thing you're living, and I got professional help because I had professional problems. How did you know professional problems, Drake? So they put me in a prison that cost $40,000 a year to hold me. That was a professional holding cell. Mm-hmm. They didn't put me in a local park and leave me. They put me in a big ass building that cost a couple $100 million to build and cost millions of dollars to run. I was in a professional prison. I went to a professional courthouse, had a professional jury. All these people was paid. Everybody I'm encountering, from the police department to the district attorney to the judge to the bailiff to the corrections, they're all paid. They're all professionals. So why would I think my problems ain't professional? This is a $50 billion system to manage my problems. It costs $50 billion on the criminal system in America. So why would I think my problems are simple? They put up $50 billion to manage us. It ain't simple. So I went and got professional help because all I saw around me were professional people. So I got some professional counselors in my life, and I ain't ashamed to say it helped me immensely.
I just got a thought that I want to take you back a little bit. You said, well, it's not even what you said, it's what you did. So you're one of the few people, and I know a lot of people who have been in prison for a lengthy amount of time, and they have come back and forth regularly. What makes you different? How was you able to get out and never go back and just stay focused on what your goal was? How was you able to do that? Because so many of us, including myself, I went back quite a few times. How were you able to do that?
One of the things that helped me stay out of jail, out of prison. I went to prison once.
I know.
Went in, came out, aged my own back in. It was a contract.
Right.
Or volunteer.
Right.
I did programs. We all did programs. I ran some of them. I was in some of them. I did programs to stay out. Most people do programs to get out. They want to get the certificate to show the parole board, certificate to show the class board, certificate to show whoever to get out. They didn't learn shit while they was in their class. They sat in the class long enough to get their certificate, and they go up to the people. Look, I got my anger management certificate. Look, I got my de-escalation certificate. Look. They check all the boxes and let you go home. You don't know shit about that paper. You don't know nothing about none of that stuff. It didn't matter to you. You were doing it to get out. I'm in the class. I'm like, I'm doing this to stay out. When I got my parole out in Norfolk, I got it in April. Then it was a bunch of us. We're all on a CRA program. We got parole. Dudes was high-fiving. First, dudes came to me when they found out I got parole. They said, Dre, how did you get parole? They said, what are you talking about? They said, you need 4 out of 7 people to vote for you to go home. That's almost impossible with your record. I said, I need 4 people. I just needed 2. People in 1999 thought I was doing a life sentence because the way I had acted for so long. I was doing numbers the whole time. People who knew me thought I was doing life because my attitude and disposition the first 6 years was that of lifers.
Right.
So long story short, when I got the parole, all the guys I was hanging with quit the program the next day. They left, they moved out of the program block, they went to 4-2, 6-2, whatever, they moved to the units and started walking the track and told me what they're gonna do when they get home. What I did, I doubled my programs up. Started going to Toastmasters, started going to this one, started going to that one. And dudes pulled me up like, yo, Dre, what are you doing? I said, you don't need to do that no more. You got your parole. They can't take it from you once they gave it to you. As long as you don't get in trouble, they can't take your parole. So you ain't got to do these programs no more. And I told him, I said, I didn't do these programs to get out. I did these shits to stay out. My goal wasn't freedom. My goal was success. A lot of people, their goal is freedom. What does it mean, freedom? The parking lot. You trying to get to the parking lot. What does it take to get to the parking lot? Not a lot of effort. For some dudes, you can go sit on your bed, watch TV for 8 years, and they'll kick you out. You can do 100% of nothing, and they will kick you out. So if you can get your freedom for doing nothing, what is it worth? It's worth nothing to them or to you, and you spin and come back. I work for mine. I went to programs I didn't want to go to. I went to groups I didn't want to go to. I sat in rooms with people I didn't want to sit with. I shared stuff about my past with my counselor I didn't want to talk about. It hurt my feelings. I earned mine. And I earned it, and I respected it, and I kept it. And I had a goal. My goal was Harvard. That was my goal. And what I do now is, how do I stay out? I'm playing for Mount Hope. I'm going to Mount Hope. I don't know where you go. And I've been on enough graveyards for enough people to know that every person should have a gravestone. And on that gravestone, something's chiseled. It'll be your name, the year you was born, the year you died. There's a couple other things they're going to put on. So I ask people, what are they going to put on your gravestone? I love my son, but I'm not trusting him to pick what goes on my gravestone for eternity. What are they putting on Paris's gravestone? I watched my grandma, who had throat cancer, refuse surgery because she didn't want to live not her way. She wanted to smoke. She said, I can't do what I want to do. She planned her own funeral. I watched my grandmother plan her own funeral. Call the pastor over, go over the scriptures, talk to the florist, everything. Then jumped in that box and went on her way. No blame. I was like, my grandmother was tough. Real talk. Here I am now. I'm 54. Who's going to decide what goes on my tombstone? Me. What's going to say on my tombstone is this. It's going to say Harvard Fellow, because I did that. They ain't going to send them on no car I drove. Unfortunately, homies, ain't going to say Mattapan, ain't going to say Boston. It's going to say Harvard Fellow. Next, it's going to say Honorable Son. Since I've been home, I got to go to my mom, do some stuff for her that was really, really above and beyond. It wasn't just being home being good. I've gone out of my way for my mom. I told her, for my brothers and sisters, there ain't gonna be nobody homeless in our family. I've made enough money that we good. There ain't gonna be nobody homeless. when nobody hungry. I told my mother, when you pass, we good. I'm gonna look out for my brothers and sisters. Even though we all don't get along, I'm gonna hold them down. That's my mother's biggest burden. You know something? Everybody on this watching this thing, your mother's biggest burden is how y'all gonna do when she's gone. I could go to my mother and say, I got that. I worked for 21 years to put myself in position to say that to that woman. For 14 years, she was embarrassed to say my name because how I was living. She ain't embarrassed to say my name. And she knows when her time comes, her kids are going to be okay. Then for my father, who he's from down south, he's from Virginia. I got a call one time from a sheriff from Petersburg, Virginia. And I went to Petersburg. I spent 6 days working in Petersburg. At the end of the week, I said, it's time to pay up. We sat around the table, put my phone, called my father on speakerphone. First person said, hi, my name is John Smith. I'm the police chief in Petersburg. I want to thank you for your son's service. The next person, hi, I'm John Smith. I'm the school superintendent. I'm the mayor. I'm the fire chief. Everybody, every leading official in that room thanked my father for my service. And he was crying the whole time. I don't even like my father. But I'm paying homage to my dad. I was in Petersburg 3 days ago, doing more work. I went back this time, I told him, listen, the work I did the first time, 80 grand. $80,000 worth of work for free. Because they called my dad. I said, y'all want me to come back? You want me to do what? I'll do $300,000 worth of work for free. You know what I asked for? Rename the high school after my grandfather. It ain't all about money. That's honorable son. My stone is going to say honorable son. I went back to my dad's old town and made it right for him. I went to my mother, I gave her peace of mind and rest for her. Now, I'm working on mass incarceration. My shit's gonna say honorable son, Harvard fellow, mass incarceration. I'm playing for the stone. I don't care about no car, don't care about no club, don't care about no rep, don't care about no gear, don't care about no fame. What's going on my stone? If you come to me and it ain't about the stone, I'm good. Yo, Dre, I'm good. For hometown, I got me, cool. But this, I'm trying to lift up a city. I ain't here talking about, yo, I used to do this, that's garbage. If it ain't about uplifting, it ain't about sharing, collective, inclusion, I'm good. Gangsta Gone Legit, I'm with that. Positivity, man, you know what I'm saying? So, I always tell people, because I work with white folks, so I work with Aryans, I work with white folks, I work with Spanish folks. I say, if you don't like me because I'm black, you don't like me about something, I live on the other side of town, take the knowledge and don't tell you people where you got it from. Your folks shouldn't starve because you got a personal. I'll teach you anyways. There's no prerequisite for me teaching. You ain't got to do nothing special, you ain't got to do nothing at all. Pull up, I'll teach you. So I work with, I'm saying, people you might deem enemy to us. I'll teach you. My goal is for everybody to be better. That's it. Ain't no, oh, you gotta, no. I teach you, you go. That's it. To me, that's Gangsta Gone Legit. That's right. And we play by the rules. You know what I'm saying? We play by the street. I grew up in the street, for the record. In the street, I was just another young dude. I didn't even rep the block. I used to hustle out in the suburbs. So I didn't have a block. I lived on the street, but ain't nobody in the streets of Boston know me. Because I wasn't running around Boston making a name. I was out in the suburbs doing my thing. So, gangster for me is when I started putting USA up on that game. When I went to the feds, for me, when I went to the feds for that 2.5 years, that's when I was repping the state of Massachusetts. That's when I became a gangster. Because I was out here repping us. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted me to or not.
Well, you know where I feel you really became a gangster? And this is why I wanted you to be on this podcast so badly, is the day that you got out of prison and you went and did within 90 minutes of your release, and you went and talked to those kids. That's where it started for you. That was gangster, because you've been doing that work ever since, and you never turned back, and you never went back. So that's why I had asked you that question a few minutes ago. How was you able to not go back? Because first of all, yeah, you had purpose. You had, right, exactly. You had purpose, and you stuck by your goals and your desires to do better and want more. What I feel makes you a gangster gone legit for real is the fact that you're walking that walk. You're not someone who's faking, who's talking about this is what I want to do, this is what I should do. You're doing it, and what's gangster is not. You said a minute ago that you weren't claiming no block. Nah, that's not even what it's about. It's about the work that you're doing. Gangsta Gone Legit represents change, and you are a great example of a Gangsta Gone Legit because you've had that change, you've lived the change, and you've been doing it constantly. You're helping others to change their lives and to become better men themselves. Better young men, better men, and have that vision because they can see from your success and what you've come through and what you came from. You've been very open with your story. You've told your story, from day one, and it's impacted a lot of other people's lives. You know what I mean? So to me, I take my hat off to you in the sense that, again, you're, in my eyes, a real gangster gone legit. You know what I mean? And you give power to that name. And I just want more brothers to understand that this platform is not about who killed the most people, who shot the most people, who was in the streets selling the most drugs. That's not what we're glorifying. We don't glorify that lifestyle. We're glorifying the gangster gone legit. To me, the one that I respect the most is that man that goes home and takes care of his family. That man that's out there working at 9 to 5. That man that understands that, the streets love no one. The streets are fake. That life that the mask that I talked about earlier that we wear, because I wore it for years. I had to be tougher than I really was. I had to put on for my hood. I had to put on, because I did, unlike you, I was a gang member, you know what I mean? And I was very active, And so, but was that who I really was? Absolutely not. No. And I can say that with no shame, no regret. I was not that dude, but I had to portray that image, and I had to be someone I wasn't. And when I was in it, it's just like you, when we're in something, we go all the way in. So I had to really, like you, when you were with the lifers and you played that role among the lifers, you didn't give a fuck. That's the same thing I did when I was in these streets. And one day, while I was in the feds, I sat back and I was like, we had just had a riot. And see this, now because you've been in the feds. And you said something earlier in this podcast that it's a different monster. Totally. It's a different monster. And to those of you who have never been, don't go. Because it's not a game. And when they say the strong survive, it's real. But there was this riot, man, I swear. In the midst of it, it didn't seem there was no way out. It was like, we're all gonna die. Because everybody had every weapon you could think of, backs to the wall, and this to be true because you've been in the midst of this. This is what happens. When you're in a prison riot, the best thing you can do, the only thing you can do, is put your back to that wall and swing like crazy. Whatever it is you got in your hand, that knife, that weight, your hands, whatever it is, you're fighting for survival. You're fighting for life and death. We made it through. I mean, of course, there was some lumps, there was, some wounds, all type of shit. And I've never said this to anybody yet, as far as even any of the podcasts the interviews I've already done. So this is the first time I'm sharing this. That was one of the key moments in my life that made me really sit back and reflect. Because I was one of the ones who was one of the instigators. And I shouldn't have been, because I wasn't even from New York. But I was rolling with them. Like you said, I was supposed to be with the homies from 038. Boston, they were quiet. They wasn't even moving like that. But these New York dudes had to get into it, and it was the Philly boys, and it was chaotic. They go hard. No. They go hard. They go hard.
When I was in the feds, they burnt down a spot called Camp Hill in the late 80s. And they shipped all these Philly dudes to Terre Haute.
Yeah, and
they came in 75 deep. Them dudes was off the meters.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I hang out in Philly a lot, right? 27 in Allegheny. Shout out to North Philly, but no, I mean I say this shit. They just go hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no business being in the feds. They should have stayed in the state jail.
And another thing they do, the boys come up boxing. So they come up boxing from this big. So it wasn't sweet. But anyway, the point was, it made me think while I was in segregation for a while, man, what am I really doing, man? Like, that wasn't even my beef like that. Like, I went and put on, yeah, man, and started we getting this big ass shit, and then, you know, at the end of the day, I was like, I gotta think differently, man. Like, what was my why? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, what was my why? Why did I participate in that? And so I say that to say, you know, to me today, Gangsta Gone Legit means so much, and this is why this is on me every day. And I tell people, man, this is a badge of honor. It keeps me grounded. It makes me want to do more and do better. And one of the things I want to share, because I do know this is blown up. It's getting a lot more attention. A lot of people. I mean, just right now we're in Atlanta on location, and I just did a event with DJ Envy at the car show.
You come to South Carolina?
I'm coming, bro.
Dude, listen.
Invite me.
How about you? We run in prisons now.
Okay.
Listen. Niggas that came out the penitentiary and home, now they call us to come take over their joints and help make them better.
That's what's up.
It's crazy.
That's what's up.
Dude, we got my homie, big homie doing natural life sentence, Dom, flipped the case, came home. He is the unit manager, site director at a prison.
That's crazy.
He walks up every day, walks through the gate, hey, walks in, and he runs the whole shit.
Wow.
Listen, from a natural life sentence to running his own housing block. I negotiated the deal. You know what I'm saying? I passed off to the homie. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do. So I got jails and prisons around the country that we could just lock down as far as bringing programming, bringing that whole mindset. Again, out of Boston, Academy of Hope, out of Boston.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? We're the first.
Well, you do know that the thing I say all the time is that Gangsta Gone Legit is not just a clothing line, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So this is a movement.
We're the first ex-offenders to be commissioned and given housing units. Not a program in a day room, not a program we have our own unit. Boom. We decide who come in, we decide what we eat, we decide what comes in this piece, we decide what goes on the wall, what time we lock down, what time we get up, what happens all day. We run our own shit.
Wow, that's dope.
Hands down, boom. They hand us a contract. We got like 6 jails.
Now see, that's gangster. You just said that he went from being a lifer
to running
a prison. The whole unit.
Yeah.
Shout to dog.
We almost got our own prison. Kentucky was going to give us our own prison. Now this is crazy. We go to Kentucky. We go on a tour. They're going to give us literally our own. I met with the governor. Met with the director of public safety. Met with the ward. The superintendent, commissioner. They were going to give us our own prison. And just send us like whatever amount of people they want to send us. And we want to have the control of, they're going to make me warden. They're like, Dre, you're going to be warden. That's your prison. I'm like, Tom, UAW. We got this. This is crazy. I go see my mentor. Dude down in Houston named Ben. I'm like, yo, Ben, they're going to make me warden of a prison. This is crazy. I'm going to be on Oprah. I'm going to be on 60 Minutes. I've always wanted to be on 60 Minutes. I'm going to be on, because that's what it was back in the day. I want to be on 60 Minutes. I'm going to be on Oprah. National Story. Went from being in segregation, lockdown, crazy, to being a warden. I'm the first ex-offender, nigga for real, to become a warden. This is phenomenal. He listened to me. He said, Dre, you can't be the warden. I said, no, I'm going to be the warden. This is crazy. 60 Minutes, Oprah, blah, 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 blah. He says, Dre, you can't be the warden. Like, you don't understand, Ben. I'm going to be the warden. I ain't turning this down. He's been mentoring me for years. Now I got something that I think I want, seeing it from my point of view, I stopped listening. I'm telling him instead of him telling me. I became the mentor. He's like, Dre, you can't be the warden. He said, okay, sit down. I know you're excited. I know it sounds like a great deal. Let me explain something to you. 95% of what a warden does, you want no part of. It's all meetings, accounting, lawyers, meetings. That's all they do. What you want to do is go talk to guys on a yard. You want to go deal with the dudes and say, the warden don't do that. When you was in SEG, how often did the warden come by?
Right.
I said, never. He said, and the same will be true for you. As soon as you sign that deal as a warden, you just agreed to 45 hours of meetings a week. And you don't want that. You'll be bored to death 5 seconds into the job. What you want to do is take the 5% of what you do, put that into a program and sell that. They'll buy that, and you can scale that. If you become a warden, you want to be at one facility. You create a program, you're going to be at 50 facilities.
Right.
I was like, okay, I see it now.
Right.
And I was able to sit down. I called back and said, I don't want to be the warden, but I'll sell you this program. They're like, okay, we'll buy the program. Now that program is going to be in like 7 different prisons in different states. But had I went on my own accord, my listening went out the window, my thinking got narrow because I saw something I thought was good for me, shut everybody else out. But my mentor was like, he let me run my mouth and said, Dre, no. This is what it is. And he broke it down to me. And he didn't get mad at me being childish in the moment or excited. And I didn't take the warden job. I had to go back and tell Dom, yo, we can't be the warden. He said, what do you mean? I said, we can't scale. If we become warden, we're only at one facility. If we become a program,
You can be
we can go everywhere. The original name of the program wasn't the Academy of Hope. It was Tanner, the Andre Norman Academy. The contract I signed with the First State is with Tanner. Academy of Hope didn't exist. So when I got there, my mentor said, don't make it about you. Give yourself flexibility. So I changed the name from Tanner to the Academy of Hope. You know why? Because if you pull up to the Andre Norman Academy, who are you looking for? Andre. Pull up to Academy of Hope, who are you not looking for? Andre. So I'm flexible to go anywhere I want. Right. Had I put my name on it, I got to put my face with it. Right. By putting a title on it that's not my name, it gives me a chance to step back. I can make you the director of Academy of Hope. I can make anybody director of Academy of Hope. I can just be the owner or the founder, whatever you want to call it. I don't have to be the guy up front.
Right.
But mentorship, I sit down and I listen. I sit down and I listen. I got tons and tons of mentors for different reasons, for different things that I go to. Now listen, and a mentor, what is a mentor? Someone that can tell you no. Let's just start. Someone that you respect, someone that knows what to talk about, has capacity to tell you no. If they can't tell you no, even if you disagree, then they're not your mentor.
They're not a good mentor.
No, they're not your mentor. It's not about a good mentor.
Yeah.
You're not a good mentee. A mentor should be able to hear you out and give you sound advice, and it's not optional. If it's optional, they're advisors. I got mentors. My mentors can tell me no, and I respect it because I respect them. I got to where I'm sitting because I have mentors, not advisors, not homies, not buddies, not pals, guiding my business. I got a board of directors in St. Louis. I got 6 guys who I sit in front of, and they break down my taxes, my personal life, what my plans are, my housing. They go through everything. They put it on the table, they go through it, boom. Are your contracts right? Are your taxes up to date? What are you doing with your son? Is the school paid up? Where's your child's? Everything. They know you can't talk about it. I got people that speak into my life. I have success because I let successful people speak into my life. And I don't pick and choose what I choose to listen to. Nah, I don't like that one. Nah, I don't agree with that one. If you want to be successful, let successful people speak into your life. If Warren Buffett was sitting here or Bill Gates was sitting here, we do whatever they say do. Invest in that, I'm putting my last dime on it. Right. You know why? They're successful. If Bill Gates said, Andre, go invest in this, put all your money on it, we're going to do it. Right. Let me tell you the back end of that. A true mentor, if Bill Gates told me to go put my last dime on whatever the stock was and it flopped, his pride is not going to let me go broke. He's going to write the check back to me. My fault, Dre. That's bad advice. I'm worth like $30 billion. I'm not going to go down for 100 grand. You'll last. So, I mean, mentors ain't going to let you fail. But you have to trust in them. What Dom told me when I first got to the state penitentiary, you take the first step, we'll take the next 9. You throw that first punch, Dre, we'll throw the next 9 if need be. But you got to throw the first one because it's you. We can't throw the first one for you. You throw the first one, and if need be, we got the next 9. We ain't going to let you lose. Because if you lose, we lose. And we don't take losses. That's what he told me. Yeah, he said, we don't take losses. So you just throw the first one, and if you need to, get out the way. We got it from there. And it's the same thing with my mentors now. Like, you got to throw the first punch, Dre. You got to make the first move, Dre. We ain't going to let you fail. So I know tax law now, trust accounts. Oh, dude, I was sitting down with my man earlier like, yo, breaking down tax law. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. If you don't understand the tax law, then you in trouble. But I sat with people and they taught me tax law. They taught me how trust accounts work. There's legal ways to keep your money. Legal, everybody doing it. But you got to sit with somebody who's been successful in that space, and they'll teach us. I learned so much stuff, man. It'd be a shame to take it to the grave not sharing it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you was able to share some of that on this podcast. That's for sure.
I
know my viewers are going to be like, wow, this is real informative, man. This one right here.
If they want to build a nonprofit, if they want to build an LLC, if they want to build an S Corp, if they want to do books, if they want to do music, if they want to do investments, listen. I'm not the end of the world, but I know a lot of shit. I'm saying, full stop. I'm saying, and just because I had a dude hit me up the other day from Philly. Some chick heard me on a podcast. She called me talking about my man. He called me, get on the phone. He out there hustling. I'm on the phone with this dude for an hour and a half, showing him, breaking it down, how to get in touch with himself, find his whys, and redirect. You know what I'm saying? I get these calls, yo, I saw you here. Can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my baby daddy? Can you talk to my cousin? Can you talk to my brother? I do it all day. I'm saying, I don't not take a phone call. If you call me, I'll take the call. I'm saying, I don't care how much money I'm making, how important the meeting is. I always got time to help somebody. The main thing is the main thing.
I think that's a good time to stop this interview and set up for part 2. Which I'm sure I'm going to have about part 2 or 3 on this one. But the next one we could talk about finances and all other things that you.
Give me listen. If you gave me a whiteboard right here, I can show them how to make $600,000 a year without blinking.
Wow.
Dude, listen to me. You put a whiteboard right here, the magic marker.
But you know what? You can't give them that yet because you know what they do? No. You know what they didn't do?
What?
They're gonna have to subscribe. They're gonna have to hit that like. They're gonna have to comment on this video first before we give them all that.
Okay, now shout out to Evan Carmichael. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the top YouTubers on the planet. He's from Canada. He probably has like 500 million views on his channel. I'm gonna give Evan Carmichael's training for free. It's like a $20,000 training. You just come by, we're going to put it on, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I literally go in the room with these folks, and they share the shit. I mean, he's one of the top YouTubers on YouTube.
Okay.
And he has a system for it, and he never asks people to like his page.
Uh-huh.
He has a system. If your content's good, and your stuff is popping, when he did his training, he said, his philosophy, you don't ask them to like your page, don't ask them to subscribe. You will them to. You commit them to. You obligate them to. I'm saying, if I gave you $100, and you get paid on Friday, you won't feel obligated to give it back if you're a solid dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're a piece of shit, you're just gonna think you got over and keep moving.
Exactly.
So if they're getting this content and they know it's worth something and they know it hit them, they're supposed to hit the button off rip.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you know, do what you're supposed to do. I shouldn't have to ask you to be grown. I shouldn't have to ask you to do the right thing. I'm saying, this is valuable to you, show it by hitting the button. If it ain't valuable to you, keep moving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On to the next one. I'm gonna close with this. I live my life with intention. When I wake up, I got intentions. And my intentions move towards my objectives. My objectives are governed by my intentions. So I got intentions, I got objectives. Now I got movement. My movement is based on my goals and objectives, which is based on my intention. So it all lines up. It all lines up.
That was deep. On that note, this has been another edition of Real Spit from a Gangsta Gone Legit. Thanks, Jay, for being a part of this, man. That was a great conversation, man. And hopefully we'll do another one real soon.
Anytime, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, if the homies call, I show up.